Hello and welcome to the third installment as we take a look at the history, the nature of our organ here at Immanuel. Dean, I remember you giving me this dedication booklet when I first arrived, and I do think I have the answer to the number of pipes that are in our organ, but I have more questions as I look at this.
Yes, inside that dedication booklet there is a stop list. And I will confess, we do have 1,005 pipes on our organ. And out of fairness, the information that I gave you last time wasn't enough for anybody to possibly calculate the number of pipes. I'll give you one example. Yes, we have 17 stops on this organ, but one of the stops, I will pull it out halfway. It brings on one pipe, and I bring it out full way, and it brings on a second pipe. So we actually have 17 and a half stops on our organ. And even if I would have told you we have 20 ranks of pipes, you still wouldn't have known whether a rank would have filled out the entire register of its particular keyboard.
Dean, as I look at the names given to the pipes in this book, they're all German names.
Yes, we have a German organ. By contrast, if this organ had been built by Cassavant, a Canadian builder, it would have been built in the French tradition with French names. Now, to illustrate this fall, September 23rd, we are going to be hosting Professor Hirschman from Martin Luther College in New Ulm. And it is important for him to know the information about this organ. Yes, we have a 2-manual tracker action pipe organ with 17 and a half stops and 20 ranks of pipes. It is also important for him to know that it was built in the German tradition. But as he approaches organs, there are going to be similarities that just about every organ would have. Let me talk about those now. There are 4 families of pipes that he could reasonably expect to find on every organ. First of all, last time we spent a lot of time talking about the principal pipes. Principal pipes tend to be very strong, very bright. We use them a lot. They are a foundation for our singing. There's the flute family. Flute pipes tend to be more round in their sound, maybe a little less bright. We also have the string family. The strings tend to be much thinner, and they have a unique feature. Usually, a set of string pipes is placed right next to another set of string pipes, but the second one is slightly out of tune, so that when I draw the second set on, it creates a warm, almost tremulant feeling to it. That is what's really characteristic about the string sound. The 4th family of pipes would be the reed family. Reeds tend to be very bold, they tend to be very bright, and they tend to be loud.
Dean, I also see a listing of the materials or the composition of the pipes, so I'm guessing that what the pipes are made out of determines their sound.
That and the shape of the pipes is very important. So I'm going to take a look at these first 3 pipes that I've pulled out as examples. This first pipe that I pulled is a principal pipe. And if you notice, it is very shiny compared to the second pipe that I pulled out. This is a flute pipe, as is this wooden pipe that I have. If you take a look at this first pipe, you see it is very shiny compared to this one. And in your listing, Pastor, this would have a much higher tin content, and this would have a much higher lead content in an alloy. The tin tends to give us a more brighter sound. The lead tends to give us a softer, warmer sound, which would be appropriate for the flute pipe. Some of our pipes are also made out of wood, and that gives them a characteristic sound. But as I said, the shape of the pipes also determines a number of things. Let me talk about this wooden pipe for a second. This wooden pipe is a capped pipe. The cap serves 2 purposes. As we lengthen or pound the stopper in, that changes the pitch on it a little bit for tuning purposes. It also does a second thing. Since the air has no way to escape out the top like it would do here, the air actually has to go up and come back down. So that means that this pipe is actually twice as long as what it looks. I want to step back a little bit on our stop register. Pastor, you had mentioned that our longest pipe is 8 feet long, and that is correct, even though if you look at our stop list, we have 2 pipes that say they are 16 feet long. How do we accomplish that? It's because of the stopper on the end. So they are indeed only 8 feet long, but with the stopper on top, they become 16-foot pipes. Another distinctive shape is whether the shape is coned or straight. Again, our principal pipe is very straight. If you take a look at this Gemshorn pipe, it tends to taper in. Another shape that we could have is to have a chimney on top. The chimney creates a little bit of a chiff sound to it, which is very desirable as well. This last pipe I want to talk to you about, this represents our reed family. And I said the reeds needed to be accessible because they are somewhat problematic for us. They actually have a moving part. Let me take this pipe apart and actually show you what I'm describing. So what makes the sound is this little brass reed vibrating against the wind column here. The length of the pipe simply is an amplifier for this reed sound. Now if you can picture a fly coming in and finding this to be its home and eventually dies here and parts of him end up in this reed, it can be very problematic for us. So that's why these have to be fairly accessible to us. And they need to be tuned a little bit more often as well. The tuning of this pipe is done by tapping on this wire either to tap it shorter or longer.
I get the feeling that even with all this information, our organ is very unique. Not every principle sounds like ours. The same goes for our flute, our strings, and even our reeds.
Again, thinking back to when Professor Hirschman is going to be coming, he's going to spend a great deal of time playing our organ and listening to it. He's going to want to determine the various voicings of the pipes. He's going to want to know exactly where the ranks begin. He's going to want to know where every breakback happens in the mixture. He's going to want to spend some time feeling our tracker action because each manual is slightly different and he's going to want to know its response. He's going to spend some time activating the coupler system and seeing how that will perform for him.
And this is what Professor Hirschman will have to do to familiarize himself with our organ, but for you this all has to be second nature, right?
Well, yes and no. There is a major ingredient into our sound that we haven't talked about, and that is heat and humidity. Now all those different pipes that I laid out here, the different metals that were in the metal pipes, the wood pipes, they all react a little bit differently to the heat and humidity. So there are times when I come with a planned registration that I want to use, and on a particular Sunday morning in summertime, or in a very cold early service in wintertime, that registration just isn't going to work the way I wanted it to. So I have to adjust things. And then also, there could be that nasty fly in place too.
Thanks, Dean. And as a friendly reminder, you can watch this and each of these segments right on our church website at diedforme.org. Thank you.